As we all know by now, GoPro are set to release 4 cameras for 2024. Now, if you've missed out on that news, here's a quick recap. Nick Woodman confirmed during the GoPro Investor Relations call that 4 cameras were coming for 2024, and these would be 4 new models. One would be an entry-level GoPro, probably aiming for the $200 range, and the expected target date for release is mid-2024. One would be the GoPro Hero 13. One is very likely to be the GoPro Max 2, which leaves one more model, which I personally think is going to be the Hero 13 Mini. However, what I want to look at today are the Hero 13, the Hero Max 2, and the GoPro subscription services. What GoPro are going to need to do to win back consumer confidence and make their cameras a must-buy for 2024. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. This is the DemonView Podcast. If you want to see life from a different perspective, then sit back, relax, and enjoy. This is the DemonView Podcast. Hi there, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you tuning into the latest podcast. And in this episode, we're going to be looking at the Hero 13, the Max 2 camera, and the GoPro subscription services, and what I think they'll need to be able to do to win back consumer confidence in GoPro. Now, as some of you may be aware, last year was not a great sales year for GoPro. Although the subscription side continues to grow, the hardware side was down on previous years, and this has led to GoPro cutting 4% of its global workforce, as well as implementing cost-cutting measures for this year. Now, although this may seem worrying, it's not really that unusual. After all, companies often cut overheads and costs to improve their profitability. GoPro are also in it for the long run, with their subscription service making vast gains. It's a great money-making revenue source for them, and they'll want to increase that profitability. And in this regard, I feel there needs to be some improvements with the subscription services, especially where other companies are throwing down the gauntlet. So let's take a look at the subscription services, what the pros and cons are, what do you get with the GoPro Plus subscription, and is it worth getting? And what could GoPro do to improve things? So let's start with the premium subscription. You get unlimited cloud storage of your GoPro footage, 25 gigabytes of cloud storage for non-GoPro footage, synced mobile and desktop editing, but currently only available for the Mac, guaranteed camera replacement for a fee, up to 50% accessory discounts at GoPro.com, and $100 off your next GoPro with a limit of 1 per year. You've got auto cloud upload, automatic highlight videos, live streaming, and that basically costs $50 a year. With a Premium Plus subscription, you get all of that and 500 gigabytes of cloud storage for non-GoPro footage and Hypersmooth Pro video stabilization, and that's for $99 a year. So, is it worth getting? Well, to be honest, kinda, maybe, sorta. Look, unlimited cloud storage for your GoPro footage is excellent. In fact, I don't know of any other file hosting services that are offering that type of value for money. I mean, I think Google charge about $10 per month for 1 terabyte of storage. So you may think that seems like a lot, but remember, I'm shooting with 512 gigabyte cards in my camera. That gets me less than a month's of footage, and I'm fussy about what I film. If I were to be filming the way a lot of folks out there were filming, those cards would only last me a few days. So suddenly 1 terabyte doesn't seem like a lot of storage space. I mean, I currently use a 16 terabyte drive to store my archive footage on, and that's almost full. Then we have the fact that you can access that GoPro footage from anywhere you have internet available with your smartphone or tablet. You can download your footage and start editing away. I've done this when I've been in hotel stays, just download some footage, make some quick edits, throw it up on social media. So from that perspective, yeah, cost-wise, unlimited cloud storage for GoPro footage is a win. Then you have the discounts at GoPro.com, and maybe that's not so good. I mean, yeah, you can get discounts up to 50%, but you really do have to spend about $100 on goods before you get that free shipping. Otherwise, you're paying extra for the shipping, and I think that's usually about $35. And then you may think, okay, I'm going to buy some spare batteries for my camera and then get those discounted. Well, that's not going to work, as GoPro won't ship spare batteries without a camera. Now, this isn't GoPro's fault. It's actually something that was put in place a long time ago by government and shipping companies, and it kind of just stayed in place. So even though GoPro shows batteries for sale and with a discounted price and all, they actually can't ship them unless you buy a camera also. Then there's the fact that even with discounted pricing, the price of buying accessories from GoPro can often be dearer than simply logging into Amazon and buying the exact same accessories from GoPro. So that's not really an incentive to buy a subscription. In fact, the only GoPro exclusives at GoPro.com tend to be t-shirts, which in all fairness are extremely comfy and well made, and the backpacks, which are, I have to admit, pretty excellent, and they have mounts and storage pockets specifically designed for GoPro cameras. The automatic highlight videos, I often just ignore those because I make my own clips anyway. Then you have the live streaming. Well, there's plenty of websites out there that allow you to live stream anyway, and GoPro live streams do have a 2-hour time limit on them, so I wouldn't call that a huge incentive. So really the only reason to get a GoPro Plus subscription is for that unlimited cloud storage. Then we have the differences between GoPro Plus and the GoPro Premium service, and for double the price you're getting that 500 gigabytes of storage space for non-GoPro footage and Hypersmooth Pro stabilization. So is this good value? I'm not really sure it is. I really don't want to store 500 gigabytes of non-GoPro footage. In fact, I'd probably delete a lot of my GoPro footage from the cloud if I wasn't just so lazy, and I get to store as much of that as I want. Hypersmooth Pro stabilization, well, some people already own RealSteady and have paid for it, so offering it for free as part of a subscription is of no value to them. Then there's also stuff like GyroFlow, which is free open source stabilization software that works with GoPro cameras, so I'm not seeing the need to upgrade to premium at all. So you see, there are issues with the GoPro Plus subscription. Don't forget, GoPro said they were relaunching Quick for Mac and Windows, and this will be free for all GoPro subscribers. The big issue with that though is you're having to pay for that GoPro subscription, and it's only currently available for Mac. Windows will allegedly be here this summer, but don't hold your breath on that one. It's also very basic software that seems to be missing some of the functions that the mobile app has. And finally, Insta360 just released an updated version of their desktop app, and it's completely free for anyone to use. Talk about a slap in the face to GoPro. And let's face it, there's more fully functional, better free video editing apps out there that people can use, such as OpenShot or DaVinci Resolve. So Quick for desktop isn't a huge draw either, at least not for me. So how do GoPro improve the situation? And simple, let's offer people better reasons to get a GoPro subscription. And I would do the following. A free version of Quick for desktop for everyone to use regardless of whether they're a subscriber or even a GoPro user. And then you have a pro version of the desktop software which features extra features, including that Hypersmooth Pro that you can pay independently for or is included as part of that subscription. And yes, I would keep the 2 tiers of the GoPro subscription, like a $50 tier which would be the basic one, which offers you the exact same things you have now but also includes the Hypersmooth Pro in it. Then for $150 you have a premium tier, which is actually a real world incentive for subscribers. You just don't call it a premium tier, you call it the GoPro Club or something, And subscribers to this tier, they get the camera replacement cost for about $50 and not the $100 standard fee because they're paying more anyway, and give them the option of trading up to the most recently released model for $200. This is something that GoPro usually have to do if they're after running out of a model of camera. Like I recently had to send in my GoPro Fusion as the power button on it was damaged, and as a result they didn't have any more Fusions in stock, so they upgraded me to the Hero Max. So I have that now, but I believe it also happens with people with the earlier cameras like the Hero 8 and the Hero 9. They're now getting Hero 10s as part of their subscription. But recently GoPro released again their trade-up deal where you send in a camera, they give you $50 off the latest GoPro model. I say have this part of the premium tier. People can send in any old GoPro they have, and for $200 they get the latest release cameras. Also, give subscribers like a birthday box once a year. Now, you're talking a nice GoPro birthday card, an exclusive GoPro Club t-shirt, and maybe a keyring and some stickers. Think about it, they're paying an extra $50 for this stuff, and I think it's going to be a great way to actually have people feel that they belong to an actual club, they're actually getting the support of GoPro. And maybe have an exclusive GoPro branded content for sale in a GoPro Club section of your store. People are going to be paying the cost for this anyway, they're still going to be buying them, but now they feel like they're a bit more important, and you make the tier actually worth people's while to subscribe to and make them feel like they're important GoPro Club members. And that's all that people want. They want to feel like they're respected, honored, and valuable, and this is a good way to do that in my opinion. So, now that we fixed the GoPro Plus subscription, you're welcome GoPro, let's look at the upcoming cameras, starting with the GoPro Max 2 and what it needs to be able to do to make customers say, I want this camera. Now, first of all, we have to go back to the GoPro Fusion, GoPro's very first standalone 360 camera. It was a bit of a wow moment when they released it, but also a bit of a failure. Had buggy software, buggy firmware, and frankly, it was dropped like a hot snot by GoPro. I mean, for me, that really left an unpleasant taste in my mouth. I mean, I bought 2 of these cameras when they were released, and while they were fun, they were as expensive as hell. I think I paid nearly $700 for them, and the software was prone to crashing, so I wasn't happy. Now, you listeners out there, you can be happy because it was the GoPro Fusion that led me to start making YouTube help videos as I showed people solutions to stop the Fusion desktop software from crashing and how to manage your workflow so that rendering was much quicker. So, hey, I guess we all owe that to GoPro. But investing that much money into these cameras only for GoPro to say, yeah, we're not supporting those anymore, you're on your own, it was a bit of a dick move. The last update was a beta firmware update that increased the resolution of the cameras to 5.6K at 24 frames per second, but did nothing to fix the other issues such as not obtaining GPS lock when the SD cards had too much footage on them, or the fact that the desktop software would just crash unless you went into your task manager and reduced the processor thread count to just 2. Yeah, watch the video. This meant that the GoPro Max was released. I stayed far away from it when it was released because I didn't want to invest more money into another camera that I was afraid was just going to be full of bugs that GoPro would never fix. Hey, guess what? It's got bugs that were never fixed. 360 degree spatial audio? Nope. The ability to retain GPS data when converting footage on Windows? Nope. Bluetooth connection reliability? Nope. There were also the hardware specs. I mean, when the GoPro Fusion was released, it was a maximum resolution of 5.2K. The beta firmware updated that to 5.6K at 24 frames per second. The GoPro Max, its max resolution was the same, 5.6K, but at 30 frames per second. Its bitrate was actually much lower than the Fusion, and the Fusion had night modes that the Max didn't. In fact, the Max seemed to be missing features that the Fusion had, and that didn't really make sense to anyone. And here's the real kicker. With the GoPro Fusion, you can stick it on top of your car, go for a nice drive, come home, export your footage with the Fusion Studio into 4K H.264, and then upload that footage straight to Google Street View. Yep, you can update Google Street View with your Hero Fusion camera. Can you do this with the GoPro Max on Windows? No. And this is because the Hero Max uses its own proprietary 360 format, which, hey, Google Street View will recognize the GPS data on it, but it won't upload the video because of the way it's compressed. And if you try to render it out using GoPro Player, you lose all of that GPS data because it can't retain it using the exporter in Windows. So one of the most fun aspects of shooting 360 footage, simply not available for the GoPro Max Windows users. And there's no way around this. It's a really long and complicated process to do it, and it shouldn't be. So what does the GoPro Max 2 need to be able to do for users to want to purchase it? Well, it's got to do a hell of a lot. Number 1, you're going to need far better image quality. 5.6K may seem like high resolution when you first hear it, but realize that's 5.6K over a 360 degree sphere. Once you reframe that footage into a normal FOV like you see with other action cameras, you're basically cutting out all of that extra resolution and you're left with a 1080p image or less. It looks bad. So yeah, unfortunately GoPro needs to up the resolution, and that's going to be a really hard thing to do as most people are editing footage on cheap budget mobile phones, and there's no way their phones are going to be able to handle much higher resolution than 5.6K. So it needs to be a pro option, have a higher resolution with higher bitrate and be available for desktop users, but for mobile phone users have a lower bitrate, lower resolution option available. Number 2, it needs to work. You need to have a camera that turns on and functions reliably when you either use the remote or the GoPro app. Nobody wants to see the message of camera found, connecting to camera, and then neither the app or the camera actually do anything. This has to stop now. You need to fix the cameras and you need to make sure they work properly. Number 3, the software needs to do more. Right now, the competition has implemented AI features into its software. It has object tracking, people tracking, it features fun effects that people can use. GoPro software is miles behind the ball on this. It just doesn't offer any of that. I frankly don't think they have the ability to catch up anytime soon, and they need to. So software-wise, even if you give people some cracking hardware options, you need to have fun and exciting software features that people can use to complement their camera and the footage they shoot. Number 4, make sure it can upload its footage to Google Street View. Now, I can imagine this won't be possible since GoPro are likely to do the same thing they did with the Hero 12 to cut down on costs, and that's remove the damn GPS chip. You've seen people complain about this, and it wouldn't be so bad if GoPro had a working GPS remote option. They don't. In fact, they can't even seem to get the remote to work properly with the Hero 12. So honestly, if I were GoPro, I would not be looking at GPS removal as an option for the Max 2. I think it was a mistake with the Hero 12 that affected sales as well as GoPro's reputation. I think it would be a mistake for the Max 2. Number 5, give people an underwater case that works, something that provides enough of an air gap that the footage isn't distorted and the camera actually works underwater. The competition has managed to do this, there's no reason that GoPro can't. And my fear here is that GoPro aren't going to do any of these options. They're going to release the Max 2, it'll be an expensive camera, it'll basically have many of the features that the Hero 12 offers, but as a result it just won't stack up to the competition hardware or software wise. It won't sell in big numbers, and maybe within a year or two GoPro will have dropped support for this camera too. So GoPro, if you're releasing the Max 2 this year, it needs to live up to the promise that Nick Woodman made. It really does have to be worth waiting for. And that brings us to the Hero 13, and hopefully not an unlucky number for GoPro. Look, ever since I got my first GoPro, the GoPro Hero 2, that was the first one I had, I've always had the belief of don't buy the odd numbered GoPros. I mean, for me, the odd number was the new design camera with the new features, and then the following even number camera was the one that actually fixed all the bugs that were in the new camera. So like the Hero 3, that gave us 4K but at an unusable 15 frames per second. The Hero 4 fixed that and gave us proper 4K at 30 frames per second. The Hero 5 was a slightly updated Hero 4 in a different body. The Hero 6 featured the GP1 processor, gave it double the frame rates, a much better colour profile, clearer optics, and in night-lapse shots, that camera really did rock. The Hero 7 was an overclocked Hero 6 model with features added such as time warp, hypersmooth portrait mode, live streaming support, which I think was in 720, and a faster frame rate, but it did seem a bit buggy to me from all the reports I read. The Hero 8 seemed to be a fixed Hero 7 with a major redesign and some flaws as a result. It supported mods such as the media mod, the light mod, and the display mod. However, it removed the built-in HDMI out, which a lot of people complained about, and instead pushed the sales of media mods to make up for that. It also had the hot pixel issue on its sensor and the non-removable front lens protector, which nobody was happy about. Least of all GoPro, when they realised that instead of replacing people's damaged front lens protectors, they had to replace the entire camera. But still, it was the first one that kind of really introduced the mods, and I think it really did fix the problems that were evident with the Hero 7. Then there was the Hero 9. The Hero 9, where do I begin? The Hero 9 was one of GoPro's worst models they ever released, in my opinion. Upon release, the camera just plain didn't work with lockup issues, not being able to record GPS data, laggy touchscreen that was a nightmare to use, huge connectivity issues, and an audio cackling issue when using the onboard mics. Now, this was a COVID camera. It was basically designed, prototyped, and manufactured during the height of the COVID lockdowns when people were still learning how to work from home, and this really affected the camera quality. In fact, this camera would see update after update after update, trying to fix all these issues. Now, in all fairness, GoPro really did manage to solve a lot of the issues with the camera with the firmware updates, all except for that audio cackling issue. That remains, and the last official GoPro stance in this was power on your camera and let your camera warm up for 2 minutes before recording. Or, just use the media mod and bypass the internal mics. It also introduced the max lens mod for users. So the Hero 9, not my favourite. The Hero 10 was a fixed Hero 9 with a much better and faster GP2 processor. It offered 5.3K resolution, much faster frame rates, and introduced the hydrophobic lens cover as standard. Everything that was wrong with the Hero 9, they fixed with the Hero 10. Then we had the Hero 11, and that one actually proved my theory of odd number, even number cameras wrong. This was the first odd-numbered GoPro that broke the mold. It introduced 10-bit color, a taller 8:7 sensor, which was ideal for reframing shots on social media platforms, and had excellent in-camera night effects. It also introduced the Enduro battery as standard, and everyone who's used Enduro batteries know that they're the only battery you should be shooting with. The Hero 11 camera was, and still is, a pretty damn awesome camera. The Hero 12 is a bit of a controversial camera. I mean, here's the kicker. There is only one single hardware difference between the Hero 12 and Hero 11, and that's the removal of the GPS chip. It was controversial and people were not happy about that. I would say this is one of the main things that affected GoPro sales for the Hero 12. People wanted to use GPS data in their cars, skiing down slopes even when flying. GoPro, on the other hand, said we don't see people uploading clips with GPS on them or posting them, so we're removing this feature. Now, don't really think they thought that one through, as most people were using third-party apps to get really decent camera and GPS telemetry data, and as a result, the camera's reputation was damaged by people not even wanting to give it a chance. Hell, even I wasn't happy with the Hero 12 when it was released because of that, and that was a pity because once you start using the Hero 12, you realize what a great camera it was. You see, it may be the exact same hardware as the Hero 11, but that's where the similarities end. The camera is running completely different firmware, had a whole host of new features as a result. HDR video, GP log video, variable bitrate recording, multi-track audio recording when using the media mod, and Bluetooth headphones. And yeah, I said Bluetooth headphone support because that was included. It had renameable and shareable preset names, a 4K max lens mod 2.0, as well as timecode sync. So the Hero 12, it actually is a great camera, but it does miss that GPS data, which is what I reckon affected sales. Which brings us to the Hero 13 and what GoPro needs to do to win its customers back. Look, I honestly don't think people are going to want to pay for a GoPro Hero 11 with another firmware update again. GoPro tried that trick, it was a good trick, but people have seen it before and weren't that interested. And like any good magician, you gotta avoid doing the same trick twice. It's time to address some of the issues that have surrounded the previous models and fix the customer complaints. So, number one for the GoPro Hero 13, that media mod has to go. The fact that you have to take the entire camera apart just to change battery or get to the SD card is a big no-no. When you think about the media mod, what it really is, all the electronics are in just one side of that media mod, a thin plastic part that plugs into the USB-C port. Everything else is just useless plastic with two dummy buttons. So get rid of that frame completely, have the media mod be more like a media mod door. Or heck, have a door with a built-in cold shoe and a USB-C pass-through slot on it. Have the media mod actually clip onto that door and with a cable that runs straight into the USB-C port through that slot. Problem solved. You're going to save money and the environment by using less plastic, and hey, you can even remove those shotgun mics if you want to save more money. People tend to use wireless or more expensive shotgun mics for better audio anyway. Then you have HDR 2.0. I mean, look, the HDR is great in the Hero 12, but it's far from fantastic. GoPro need to update this so we don't have that camera flickering when filming in HDR outdoors and the shadows at the edge of the frame kind of get over or underexposed in alternating frames. And no folks, I'm not talking about the flickering caused by artificial lighting indoors, I'm talking about the barely noticeable but still noticeable exposure issues visible on some of the footage in bright sunlight. If you have just 1/8 of the image that's got some shadows on it, you will see some flickering there. Also, the skin tones look a bit unnatural when using HDR, so honestly I think this could be tweaked and improved. Then number 3, people want low light shooting. And you know it, they know it, we all know it. We are also aware of the challenges of a large sensor in a small camera body using specific focal lengths. If you have a larger sensor, then you can focus less close to the camera. However, you literally could have people sign up for this issue and actually want this issue. Put that larger sensor in and have special mod lenses for people to use. So if you're vlogging or doing close work, then they have to use one lens and they don't have the night option available. Then for night modes, unlock that full larger sensor, but only if people are using the night lens mod, and have them know in advance that close-up shooting won't be an option. And I'm pretty sure people will accept that and just be happy that they can use their GoPro properly at night and get great footage from it. Then number 4, offer a burst slow motion mode. Yeah, you may not want people shooting at high frame rates for a long time and then complaining that their GoPro is overheating and shutting down, so give them a burst slow motion mode, ultra high frame rates, but just like the way phones do it, have it only work for a specific amount of time, like a 20-second or even a 30-second burst slow motion speed. And then number 5, bring back tripod mode. Look, most users have no idea how to film or how to set up their cameras properly. It's just a fact. You need to reintroduce this mode to stop people complaining about overheating when they're filming in their basement or have the camera mounted on a tripod in their basement studio. Instead, they're going to set it up with high frame rates, high resolution, have hyper smooth on boost, have that rear screen at full brightness, and then wonder why their camera's overheating. Heck, call don't even call it tripod mode, call it studio mode, okay? Give people a 4K 60 frames per second mode at most, but have hyper smooth disabled, have that rear screen set to 10% brightness to power off after 1 minute. Take the poor camera setup decisions out of people's hands and let it be totally automated. It would solve a lot of issues, and hey, you repeat that preset and call it dashcam mode as well. Have a big warning pop up on the screen saying to reduce overheating, remove the internal battery first and power the camera externally. Solve the overheating complaints just by making the camera be set up properly once people select these modes. And finally, for the Hero 13, listen to people's feedback. You have professional users out there and amateur users out there alike, and most of them have suggested improvements to the camera. For instance, the professional users, they're all saying improve the GP LOG profile for making the image flatter. Listen to them, do that, it can be tweaked. People want GPS as an option, give it to them. Even if that means you have to have a separate remote, but give people the GPS option. People want multicam support with a remote, get it working. Even if it means dropping support for older legacy devices, and if you do release a new remote, make it upgradable so you can fix any issues that come up, and give the damn thing a backlight. Look, in my opinion, this is going to be an important year for GoPro, and they really do have to win back their customer base while gaining new customers. And it's going to be a hard thing given GoPro's business model. They release a new camera every September, and I'd say with most people, if they bought a camera last year or even the year before, they may not be eager to spend money on this year's model. I mean, GoPro have always given people kind of incremental updates as opposed to blowing their socks off, and that's an issue. I mean, let's say GoPro do make a dramatic change this year and give us a camera that amazes us completely, then who's going to buy next year's model? It may finally be the year that GoPro change the GoPro camera concept, move into the modular camera market, only do it properly. Other companies have done this, only they haven't taken advantage of it. They've introduced 3 modules such as like your one core action camera module, then a module for low light and a module for 360. And if you put all them modules together, you're looking at a pretty expensive bill, probably about the cost of 3 cameras, truth be told. So give people a low light module, a 360 module, a cinematic module, a scuba diving module, a racing module. Expand the market, keep the costs low, but capture all those niches while you're at it, and you can do it with one core camera, just with different modules. No matter what GoPro has in stock for release this year, I'll be buying 1, maybe 2 cameras. Why? Because obviously I want to be able to review them for you guys, give you my thoughts, let you know whether I like them or not, but you know, I really do wish that this year I'd be buying the cameras because I want to buy them, because they actually impress me and I feel that I have to have them because of what they offer. So GoPro, they really do have to do something impressive and pull one out this year. So folks, on that note, we've reached the end of this little podcast, and I really hope you enjoyed listening. Remember to click on the community tab of my channel for weekly updates, polls, news and tips, and check out the members section for extra content, early access to videos and behind the scenes information. And until next time, cheerio. If you want to see life from a different perspective, then sit back, relax and enjoy. This is the DemonView Podcast. And this here will be your bonus clip. I really do like doing these podcasts, kind of getting into it. But, you know, it takes a while to do it. But one of the reasons I really like doing them is I don't have to get dressed up. I don't have to do my hair. Because right now I look terrible. But hey, you still get content. So yeah, I'll be exploring these podcasts a bit more and hopefully making them a bit better. So hope you're liking them. Cheerio.